The greatest mentors are the ones who have this strong intuition, who sense what is the right direction for this conversation, who sense what is the right question to ask now. But to become this great mentor, we need to practice and have a lot of these conversations. And to have something to start out with, some specific structure to use that would help you to succeed even in your first mentoring meetings, I want to offer you a tool that is called the GROW model. The GROW model is a structure of conversation that helps to clarify what is it that we want, how to get there, and to get motivation to take the first steps. The GROW model consists of 4 elements. The goal, what is it that you want to head for? Reality, what is currently going on in your life? Opportunities, what can you do to attain that goal? And will, what is it that you are actually going to do, and what is it that you're really motivated to start as a first step? Now, in this GROW model, for me the most important element is firstly the first one of figuring out what is the true goal of my mentee, what is behind that goal, what they really want. You know, we sometimes, let's say a mentee comes to me and says he wants to do his own business, his own entrepreneurial effort, and they say they want freedom. Okay, but why do you want that freedom? What is important? Okay. And when you have that freedom, what will your life be like? Okay. So with these questions, you figure out what they really, really, really want. And often what they really want is not the first thing that they say that they want. You have to dive in. So the first element is really important, and also the fourth one about developing a clarity that, okay, where can I start now? What's the first step? What is it that I want to do to get things going? And I will explain each of these steps and offer some questions that you can use to guide the conversation with the structure. This is a simple structure, and the reason why I'm offering this to you is that it works in so many circumstances with so many different problems. It's just so clear, and it just helps to bring this clarity and attain these first steps. Let's dive in. So the first thing when you're having these mentoring conversations is about clarifying the goal. And the big thing is, what is the outcome? What is the real thing that your mentee wants to achieve? And the big question here is why they want it. What is it that they really, really want to change? It's about what really matters to them and why is it important for them to change it. Dive in with these questions, because through those you discover through the layers of things we think why we have to do, we finally dig in and we discover the true reason, the true motivator, what drives us. And when we understand what is the true reason why we want to start our business, or what is the true reason why we want to become a leader, then we can be more creative for finding ways for attaining the true reason why we want it. Some questions more. How will you know that you have achieved that goal? How will you know what has to change in your life so that you could say that now I am free, or now I'm financially independent, or what has have to happen that you could say that now, yes, I got it. So in this first step, invest some time into this step. The big important thing is to really understand the real thing that you're heading for. Otherwise, all the other steps are just nice ways. Plus one thing, you can always come back to the first phase, If during the conversation you feel that, okay, that's not actually what my mentee really wants, then you can always come back to the first question. What is it that you really want to change? What is it that you really want to create? The first big thing. After clarifying what the goal is, the second step is mapping the reality. And in this phase, it's all about understanding the current situation and figuring out what has worked so far. So in this phase, you can ask questions like, what is currently going on in your life? What is it that you feel that has contributed to your success so far? So when thinking about the things you have done, what made you more successful? What do you think, what is holding you back from attaining this goal? So this is really interesting part, because when we start asking our mentees what is holding them back, and they are bringing all these excuses why they can't do it, then we uncover these things called limiting beliefs. Limiting beliefs means that I cannot become a leader if I haven't worked as a leader for 2 years. So I never become a leader, but then I never get an experience to work as a leader as well. It's kind of like a dead-end situation. Or limiting beliefs. Maybe they have limiting beliefs about business. They say that all businessmen are evil and they take too much money away from the people, so they are afraid to start their own business, thinking that maybe then I will appear like that kind of bad businessman. Or maybe people who have limiting beliefs about sales. If they think that everyone who is selling are always annoying and spammy and annoying people, then their limiting belief is that, okay, I want to do my company, but I'm not willing to go out there and present myself because I don't want to be spammy or something, so I'd rather not do that at all. But the situation might be that these limiting beliefs hold them back from attaining what they really want to. And you as a mentor have this opportunity to reflect back about this. What do you see? What is limiting? What is holding them back? What are the excuses that they are bringing that maybe are just excuses, not true obstacles? And also you can ask, what is it that they have learned from their experience so far? Also an eye-opening for their beliefs about how things work in life. So in this phase, the aim is to map out what works for them, what's currently going on, so just to understand your mentee. I wouldn't invest so much time here because the other phases are more important, but just to map out what is going on. The third step is about the opportunities. So imagine like a radar going off and spotting all the opportunities around you. The aim of this step is to discover potential strategies and options and partnerships that can help your mentee to attain that goal that he wants to. Some questions you may ask in this phase. Firstly, in which ways can we achieve that goal? So you ask from your mentee, in which ways can you achieve that goal? So they can say, okay, I can start doing this and that and so forth. It's a brainstorming phase. In this opportunities phase, what I usually do, I encourage the mentee to just wonder and just try to get as much as opportunities as possible, and not to hold themselves back that, okay, I could do this, but I've done it before, it doesn't work, so it doesn't probably work. No. Just opportunities, positive things. What is it that you can do? In the end, we can choose what can work, what we believe in. If anything was possible, what would you do? If you had the resources and if anything was possible, what would you create then? What would you change in your organization? Oh, get your ideas going. How other people have solved it and who could help you? What are some of the ways that other people, maybe more experienced people, have attained this similar goal. And maybe they could somehow help you. What would be the effective way to do it? What would help you to achieve that goal? So these questions prime the mentee to open up, to offer options, to see these opportunities. In this phase, as a mentor, I can offer some ideas as well. But the important part is that when the mentee chooses what to do and what to use, it's important that they choose, not the mentor, but the mentee, because the decision has to be done by the mentee. When I decide, then I am responsible for my decisions. When a mentor decides for me and says what to do, then I hold the mentor for responsible. And that is the reason why you can offer some ideas, help them find out. But the best thing here is just to open these questions that your mentee would get these ideas going and spot as many opportunities as possible. Opportunities phase. And in the fourth phase, it's all about choosing the specific step. What is it that we're going to do now? What's the first step? And is there enough passion to do it? Is there enough will to do it? So firstly, you can ask what kind of action you are going to take. We had all these ideas, but what is it that you're willing to do? And by what time will you get it done? Secondly, some elements you can also ask the mentee what kind of obstacles they may have on their way. So they can brainstorm, okay, I may have issues with getting this and that. And ask the mentee, okay, if that obstacle could arrive, how can you overcome that? It's valuable to address potential obstacles in this phase. Otherwise, we will get our mentee really optimistic. Oh yeah, I will do, everything is possible, hell yeah. But then they will go and then they will have these issues and then everything will stop for them. But once we have figure two, okay, what are the potential things that can happen or go wrong? How can we address them? And how can we kind of address them before they happen? Then it makes them more ready to actually get it done, to actually do it. You can also offer, like you mentioned, doing this thing. What would commit you to do this? So maybe your mentee mentioned that he would go to experiment with some new thing or apply to some specific thing, but they're a bit afraid of it. So you ask them, okay, you mentioned doing this and you seem to be maybe enthusiastic about it. What would commit you to actually follow through and do it? So the mentee can reply, what would actually commit them? And you can also ask, which specific step will you take today to start moving towards that goal? It's especially good if the mentee can do something already right after the meeting, or maybe even during the meeting, maybe call someone, apply for some meeting or something, that they would feel that they have this momentum of getting things going. This gives, it increases the likelihood of actually getting the things done. Because have you ever thought that what is the difference between a dream and a goal? You know, dream is something that we wish that we would do someday, but a goal is something that we're willing to do by a specific date. And once we have started doing something, it no longer is a dream, but it is a goal that I'm heading for. And in this last phase, I invite you to direct your mentee to clarify the next steps and, if possible, make it into tiny steps that they could actually do right after the meeting. This is a growth structure. So in this growth structure, we have the first phase, which is clarifying the goal and really figuring out what they want and why they want. In the second phase, mapping the reality, working with their limiting beliefs and what their current experience is. In the third phase, brainstorming for opportunities. This is the creative phase. So you want to go like yes and get as many opportunities as possible. Because in the final phase, you ask the mentee to choose what is it that they will actually do, actually get done. And this is where they choose from all these options, all these opportunities, and develop the clarity to start. Try this structure, and you can try this structure actually on yourself for a starter as well. So you can take one of the problems you may have and ask yourself, what is it that I really want to do? Go through with these questions, then map what I have already done, and then what can I do, brainstorm, and for the first step. By doing this process for several of times, you develop this fluency so that you won't be so stuck in the structure, but you sense when we have to go maybe back to the first phase or switch between them, and you develop your own creative style of doing. But to start out, I encourage you to test this structure out and see how it works for you in your mentoring conversations, to get the clarity for the mentee, to find new opportunities, and to take the first step of getting actually things done.